Hello everyone. I just thought that I would give you guys a quick guide on what mechanical switch you should choose for your keyboards today. And so yeah, I'll get right into it. I'll start with the three main types. You have linears, you have tactiles, and you have clicky switches. Linear switches are the equivalent of just, well, they're exactly what they sound like really. Linear. Nothing distracting. Your switch goes straight down. It feels like you're pushing on a spring. Nothing to disturb you. Number two, clickies. The same spring, but now you have a very sharp, almost stop in the middle. It's what it sounds like. It's clicky. If you've ever flipped a light switch, you know what it feels like. Something like that. And it's very loud, and some people think it's obnoxious, including me. And number three, tactiles. It's a very soft, rounded bump, and the sound also references that. It sounds less loud, less sharp, and much more pleasing to the ear. Of course, that is all subjective, but it's probably the general consensus. Okay, now let's look at availability. All three switches are widely available in all mainstream keyboards, although a few do have more options than others. Like, there are more high-end or more variety of tactile switches and clickies than there are of linears. That's not saying that there are no good linears, it's just that there are more types of tactile and linear that you can generally get available in the market. Now, number two, why would you choose either of them? Okay, now this is the most important part of this video. What are your reasons for choosing each of them? You would choose linears if well, obviously, first of all, you like the feel of each of them. Linears are the most suited for office work, as you do not want to disturb people. It is also the most suitable for gaming because it is the fastest and usually has the least distractions. Tactile switches, good for typing. Same goes for clickies. Now, both of them are good for typing, but which one would you want? If you're in an environment with no other people, you can go with clicky switches because they do feel better to most people than tactiles. Tactile switches. Well, if you're in an environment with lots of people, but you still want to get a good typing experience, you want a tactile switch. Now, I think I forgot to mention, why would you want a mechanical keyboard switch? This is probably a topic that could be saved for a different video, but you would want a mechanical keyboard switch simply because they're more responsive, they feel better, and you'll get tired less. With standard membrane keyboards, you have to press the switch all the way down, whereas with mechanical keyboards, you can just have halfway actuation. Now, let's go over a few of my recommendations for different switches. Category number one, linears. 1. Reds, either from Cherry, Gatoron, or any of the clones. Linear switches, standard issue. Basically, they're just the standard linear switch. Nothing really special about them. Medium in weight, medium in actuation points. They're pretty much just standard. Number two, blacks. They're just reds except heavier. I think that's the only difference, at least from my experience. You can get these from Kale and all the other clones as well. Number three, speed silvers. Okay, Kill has speed silvers, Cherry has speed silvers. They're the same thing as reds and blacks, except they actuate higher. So instead of like in the middle of the spring, they actuate closer to the top, and they're only 45 grams, so they're much lighter. For gaming, they're very good. Gatoron, yellows. I don't think I would suggest these. They're really smooth, but you really need to lube them to get the most of the experience from them. They also sound a bit not great, so that's something to consider. And now we have the, in my opinion, top tiers. I haven't tried tangerines or some of the newer switches yet, so I can't give my experience on those. Telios, um, I would say alpacas, Roselios, and Securios, and yeah, those are Roselios, Telios, and Sakurios are both from Zeal PC. I'll be listing all the links for all the keyboard switches in the description, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, for tactiles, Cherry MX Browns. Cherry MX Browns are a tactile switch, probably the most popular switch on the market right now. Very light, they press down very softly. There's Gatoron variants, Kale variants, and Kale box variants. And just for a side note, box switches are pretty much just regular switches, but they kind of they have better dust resistance and waterproof ratings. Now, tactiles, here go Zelios and Holy Pandas. Zelios are more stronger switches. They come from Zeal PC as well as the Telios and the rest of the silent uh, linears, and they're just stronger, very smooth. I would really suggest them. Although, like the all the other Zeal switches, they do come with a hefty price tag. Holy Panda's a bit cheaper than Zelios, but not really cheap still. I would They come. You can make your own, which is kind of difficult because you have to remove housings and not change the stems and such. So I would recommend just buying them from Drop or Glorious. From what I know, the Drop ones are slightly better, um, but they're also a bit pricier. Very good tactiles. They feel very nice, and yeah. Number three, clickies. Clickies are probably the most available, and yeah, okay, so I would start with I'll start with the click jackets, which are the ones that have some kind of rattle, because they only click on the way down. Cherry MX Blues, Gatoron Blues, or Temu Blues, Kill Blues. The standard click jackets, which very nice click on the way down, but also at the same time it makes a bit of a weird rattling sound. So that's something. It sounds kind of like this on the way down. That's not actually a switch, but you know, that's just something I had on my table. Razer Greens, you can only get them on Green Razer products, which is Razer is a gaming company. I don't really like click jackets, so I just move into the click bars. These are my favorite. Kale box whites, click bars, pretty nice click. Jades and navies. So jades and navies have the same click bar, same amount of click, lots of thick click. And but the only difference is the navies weigh a lot. They weigh like 80 grams, not like actual weight, but the force it requires to actuate them. So it can get tiring if you're not used to typing hard. And yeah, that's honestly it. There's not much else to discuss. I'll be leaving links for all of them in the description. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.